Hey everyone, back with another news video. This time I'm going to be focusing more on today's generation with technology, particularly Gen Z and Gen Alpha with phones and different types of technology that we have, various devices. And it's just a really, I would say, disturbing uh, scene. I would say so for myself because me as a millennial, I grew up during that time where the internet was still on the rise and popularity, and I still, as a kid, as a child, right? I got to go out, going to school. Keep in mind, this is way before the pandemic, and I'm so glad I got the experience of living my life as a child and then going through my teenage years and adult years. But this is basically more up towards the kids who are basically reliant on their phones and their tablets, uh, computers, and whatnot. It's just a shame that they're not going to have that same different experience as for the millennials and then the boomers and going all the way back to the 1900s and so on. Those were like the good old days, and this generation is just really dark and concerning. So I do have an article I wanted to read to you guys, and it's via GMA, Good Morning America, in case you guys are not aware. And here it shows about 48% of young women who had smartphones by 5 or 6 years old reported having severe suicidal thoughts compared to 28 of females who had smartphones by 13 or older. In young men, 31% of those who had smartphones by 5 or 6 years old reported having severe suicidal thoughts, and 20% of males had smartphones by 13 or older reported having severe suicidal thoughts. Yikes, that's terrible. Like I said, this generation nowadays, it's terrible. It's very sad. Studies author attributed the differences between young women and young men's mental health symptoms to social media usage. Other factors that seem to impact mental health outcomes were cyberbullying, poor sleep, and poor family communication, I believe, right? No, I believe it's true. People, the kids is what I'm referring to. They rely on their phones, their various devices, and when they're at home with their families or their parents, obviously the parents are going to be asking the kids, "Hey, how's your day at school? Anything that stood out? Anything that was fun?" And obviously, some of them would talk, but those who have that concern or, like, I guess, issue where they don't want to have any kind of interaction with the parents, which is very, very concerning. Which I blame technology. Like for me, as a millennial, I'm glad I had some exposure towards the internet, but I never got into it until I was like end of middle school, early high school for me. So like I'm so glad I got the experience of going out, going to school, interacting with my peers, and then asking questions and with my teachers, asking them how I can improve with my grades and how I can perform better within the education, and I did well. So I'm glad I was in that format, not format, that group of millennials where like we got to grow up and also live our life. So today's generation, it's very concerning and it's very sad, extremely dark, honestly. So again, with communication, it says discuss media with children early and often, and encourage learning digital literacy. So I hope parents are making sure they are informing their kids about social media and how to be careful, because everything nowadays, it's like it's scary, it's dangerous. We have artificial intelligence or AI that can easily manipulate different types of callers or whoever you're speaking to could be a computer. It's extremely, extremely dangerous. Now, I'm going to have this tweet on screen. It's from ABC News. And here it shows children, especially girls, who own smartphones before they are 13 years old may have worse mental health outcomes when they're older, a new study suggests. And it's true. Like girls are mostly are on their phones, and it's just sad. Like those who are just not comfortable interacting with their peers, and then they rely on their phones. What more if these girls who were born now with technology, like with Gen Z, Gen Alpha, I think. But yeah, it's I want them to experience tech, or not technology, but life without technology, without social media. I'm glad. For me, as a millennial, I got to, my, my situation. I was going through my computer, and I'm thinking to myself, what should I go for? What social media platforms I can go for? At the time, for me, I was like, getting into YouTube video game content, and for me, I was like, oh, this is cool. I want to be like this one day. This is back in '06 when YouTube was starting out. So from '06 through '09, personally speaking, it was like the glory days of YouTube. Anything from 2010 until now, there's gonna be rules after rules, and it's just gonna be, you know, sad. They don't have stars anymore for YouTube. My OG viewers, you guys know about stars, right? You do? Hopefully you do. Anyway, next up, for this topic, children, especially girls, who own smartphones before they are 13 years old may have worse mental health outcomes when they're older, a new study suggests. The study, published Sunday in the Journal of Human Development and Capabilities, analyzed self reported questionnaire results from more than 100,000. Yikes. Young adults between the ages of 18 and 24. What? I'm telling you, these girls, I guess not just girls, but I don't want to exclude them, but like the children nowadays, right? They always have to rely on their phones. Why can't they just be away from it for about a week? Better yet, be away from it for a month at most. Be away for be away from your phones or any other devices for a month, and I guarantee it that kids nowadays, since they talk about their mental health, yes, it's going to improve your mental health. It's going to improve yourself staying away from your devices for a month. I've done that before. Well, technically, I had like a flip phone, and I went to camp one time. And the thing is, when I was there, they said we cannot use phones. So I'm glad that my parents sent me to a camp at YMCA. And when we had no like flip phones to communicate, for us as a camp environment, we got to interact with our peers and getting to know, you know, different individuals, which was great. For me, I got to see some cuties. For me, I'm a big fan of, not fan, but I'm so into like Asian women. I'm like, oof, cute, because they have the little cute eyes and their smile and everything. Their hair, it's just they're just so beautiful. Anyway, I'm going off topic. This one for sure, like kids need to stay away from their phones and all technology for a few days. Again, 30 days max. So when it mentions about suicidal thoughts, and then what health symptoms? Oh yeah, such as aggression. That happens, right? I've seen kids have a mental breakdown, and then they start becoming physically abusive, hurting their teachers, possibly. Feelings of detachment, hallucinations, and like I mentioned, suicidal thoughts. Those who were given smartphones at an earlier age were associated with worse mental health outcomes for every year of smartphones ownership before the age of 13. Oh, that's terrible, man. This generation is, God bless their hearts and souls, and they need it. The American Academy of Pediatricians A pediatric also recommends families follow the 5 C's of media use, including teaching kids and teens how to be safe online, since content and advertisements may be targeting an older audience. That's true, right? Another example would be for your child. Consider your child and their personality. What media are they drawn to, and how do they react to it? Now, I want to talk about this a little bit. For the boys always talk about sports. Hey, that's fine. You go ahead. I used to talk about sports with my teachers, and that's normal. That's just how boys are. They go into teenage years and they participate into a team, and that's just how they grow physically and of course mentally as well. And then with the boys, they rely on their gaming devices, and that's also normal too, but to the extent where some of them may have an addiction of playing video games. I would, was in that category when I was a kid. Yeah, sure, I was extremely obsessed with playing video games, but thanks to my parents, when they signed me up for like basketball tryouts and playing for a team, getting to know the new people that's going to be around you for the foreseeable future, or possibly just within that summer period. Yeah, that's great. You can do that. And I know when to control myself in terms of like playing video games. So with the boys nowadays, yes, they're talking about their PS4 or PS5, or their Switch. Switch 2 just came out, right? A few months ago at this point. So, like, yeah, boys, they are also part of this topic, but, they just have to be able to control themselves with what they are doing within their time playing video games, which, at least for them, an hour, 2 hours at most, go ahead, right? Content. Consider the content of the media your child consumes. Encourage them to consider good media source. That's true. Calm. Help your child learn how to manage their emotions, including without the help of media. Hey, this goes back to millennials, boomers, and so on, right? For me personally, I'd say those who were born in 2000 until now. Uh, well, how about this? Maybe from 2005. Anything from 2005 and now is just, it's sad. There's some really cool people who were born in 2000 and 01 and 02. Quick story, I worked with this girl at Fenton Academy. She's born in 2001. She was cool and she was fine too. Like, she had that amazing booty. I think I'll leave a picture on her on the screen, but like, she was fine. Thick thighs and, wearing those tight jeans and just, and then her chest was pretty decent. Not too big, but it was just all right. But the booty was just, I think her name was Yesenia Mares, but man, she was sexy. But at the time when I was with her, working with her, I was working, and then she got upset, and yeah, it's just weird. I was joking, and then she just took it personally. Anyway, crowding out. Consider what your family would like to spend more quality time doing besides consuming media. Discuss media for communications, um, which is very important. Make sure that they need to be limiting their time within their smartphones and any type of social media. They have to be, uh, I guess, mentally prepared to be away from that platform for several hours, right? Um, let's see what else here we have here. Giving Not giving children smartphones before high school, no social media before age 16. Establishing schools as phone-free zones, which is great. I like what schools are doing, away from phones, away from social media. Until, I would say personally, if I had a kid, give them a phone when they're age 20. You know, earliest 18. Right? Just that's just me though. Right? Especially with technology nowadays. Children have to be watching. Oh wait, children watch everything you do, and that doesn't stop until you leave your house. That was told by ABC News via the email from Burgot, I believe. I think that's the reporter. Um, let's see here. A few minutes every day. Show your children that the humans that we live are more important. Yes, exactly. They are more important with society, and also technology can go to the side, right? Technology can be replaced, not humans. So we all live one life. Drake's song, yeah, right? YOLO. You only live once. Just saying. Always make sure that the kids are being away from their phones at all times. That's what they should be doing at all times. Like I said before, 30 days, 1 month of no technology. If you want to be lenient, okay, do 3 weeks. 3 weeks of no technology. Easy, right? So I really like that quote. Here we have Dr. Tara Narula also said on Good Morning America, limiting kids' access to social media appears to be a key step in protecting children and their mental health outcomes. The longer we push off allowing our kids to be on social media, we are learning the better, or we are learning the better. That's what the doctor had said. I think lots of families are getting creative. Landlines, flip phones for kids potentially are an option so that they can have access to communication without, again, without other things that come into smartphones. Like I said, YouTube, Facebook. I guess people still use Facebook. Oh, for the kids, they use TikTok, right? There's YouTube, there's TikTok. And if they can be away from that, great. Use the landlines. But the thing is, in 2025, does anyone have landlines anymore? I mean, for me, the last time I had a landline was back in 2011, I think, or 2010. That was a long time ago. Wow. And that's insane. Here we have the studies find come amid an effort led by social psychologist Jonathan Haidt, author of Anxious Generations, to limit kids' smartphones due to the impact on their mental health. So he's saying that wait, I think I lost it. No, I think I lost it. But yeah, basically he's just saying it's better just to keep them away from it so they can grow up and be mentally stable, mentally healthy, and not just being so attached with their phones. Because, like I said, today's generation is just a complete mess. They would have different languages, like with Skibbity Toilet and whatnot, or recently the Minecraft movie, right? Chicken Jockey. Like, people go crazy for that. When I say people, it's Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I think it's just a complete mess. It's so disappointing, and I'm just concerned what they're going to be doing. And kids are so spoiled nowadays. They said, oh, they'll tell their parents, "Mom, Dad, the Switch 2 came out. Can I get it?" And with Switch 2, their prices are like $500, $550 if you have the bundle. Guaranteed by next month or so, we're gonna have 650 for the bundle, and then $500 for the Switch 2 by itself. It's insane. They are so spoiled. I can't wait for them to get into the work field, start working, getting their own money, right? Once they get their paychecks, I guarantee they're gonna keep it for themselves, buy it for something ridiculous, and not pay their bills. What is that? You know, kids are gonna be like, "Oh, I want to get this, I want to get that." Bills first. Take care of bills. If you have a credit card, take care of your credit card. You want to take care of your mortgage or your apartment, do that first. Whatever's left over, then yes, you go ahead and just whatever's remaining in your check that you had earned from your job, then go ahead, treat yourself to Carl's Jr. or McDonald's, Burger King, Yoshinoya, El Pollo Loco, and so on. KFC, for goodness sake, right? Again, I just can't wait for the kids nowadays to start working so they know exactly what they got to do. They can't just get stuff and then leave the bills to the side. Mm-mm. Studies recommend restricting smartphones and social media. Um, Kids under 13 promoting digital literacy, education, and corporate accountability. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh gosh. Excuse me. Thank you. I'm saying thank you because those of you who said bless you, I appreciate it. Ideally, children should not have a smartphone until age 14. I'm saying 18. Just saying. I'm gonna. Thank you. Excuse me. Parents should take the time to discuss with their children how to interact on the internet, explain the consequences of doing various things. Again, AI, artificial intelligence. We have scammers out there who would ask, especially like with women who are just putting out their quote unquote picture. I would say their fake picture. And we have all these men who are like desperate and they want to make love and start love and whatnot. Kids have to be careful with that. Like with the boys who want to get into a relationship. Honestly, do it the old-fashioned way. Go out to a theme park. Go out to a store. If you see a cute girl, say hi, introduce yourself, get their phone number. Great. Don't get their social media. Get their phone number. Get their phone number before leaving. Call them. You call their phone number, and when you see it ring, then you have their number. Because as it is, some girls are gonna be like, "Yeah, I have your number," and then they walk away. And then let's say they have your number, they block your number. So yeah. Also, screenshot that phone number that you get from that girl, so you don't lose contact with that person. Or go old school. Get a paper, pen, or marker, write it down, put it in your pocket, right? Then I would say, if you're gonna get into that, you know, part where you want to start a relationship, starting dating, whatnot. I'm talking to the Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Just saying, all right. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this topic regarding the social media for the children. I know this was focused mostly on the girls and their mental health, but I'm gonna put both genders, both girls and boys, that they need to be careful with their time using social media, using their phone. Personally, if I had a kid, like I said, 17, maybe 18, give them a phone. Just saying. And also, big shout outs to the parents like nowadays. I see parents raising their kids, most of them, use that term loosely, are being careful and also parenting as they should. There's some parents out there who just want to have a kid and that's it. They do that because they get more money from the government. I don't know. If you're not going to take care of your kid, what's the point of having a kid? What's the point of raising a kid? Right? Anyway, this is pretty much it for this discussion about technology and mental health for the children, both boys and girls, how it can affect them throughout their young lives and in their teenage years. So it's pretty concerning and a pretty dark future that they have, unless something happens, something drastically happens where Gen Z and Gen Alpha and so on, right? I think it's Gen Delta, I believe, that they are doing well. And yes, technology is still going to be with us, but it's all about control. Control what you can do to keep your mind healthy, keep your mental state healthy. All right, be back for another video. The next video is going to be about Alexis Sheppard, and stay tuned for when it comes out. All right, see ya.